Hey folks, welcome to the Master That Strum lesson. Today I'm going to show you how to play all the parts to Wholehearted by Extreme. So, obviously the recording's in a 12 string, I've got my 12 string here, but you don't have to have a 12 string to play it. You can easily play it in a normal acoustic. But what we do need to do is tune down half step. Okay, so I've got my E to E flat here, A to A flat, D to D flat, G to G flat, B to B flat, and then that E to E flat. Okay. So, the first kind of part of this intro, what Nuno's doing is he's effectively taking kind of chords and shifting it about. So, if you look at what's going on here, what we start with is an open D chord. So you can see here I've got the kind of chord symbols there. So I'm using my first finger to play second fret of that G string, my third finger is doing third fret of the B string, and then my middle finger is playing the second fret of that high E string. Nice D chord down. And what he's doing is he's basically shifting this little shape about. So you play that chord, and then move that up 2 frets. And you've got this lovely E chord with D in the bass. You've got a little E triad here, and you've still got that D string. And that's what we're playing in that first bit there. Let it ring for another bar. Then you do it again. And then we have this little arpeggiated bit. So what I'm going to do is just pick the E, B and G string just coming down. I use all upstrokes for that. Yeah. Then we play that again, but now there's a little variation in the strumming. So we go. So just before you go to the E chord, you've got down, up, down. Just kind of lead in and let that ring, and then we've got this upstroke here. So Nuno's building intensity here. So rhythmically that strum, you've got an up strum here and you've got a down, and these little rhythms, your dotted 8 and the 16th, it's kind of 1 E and da, yeah. And then you've got 3 gallop rhythms, which is your down, down, up, down, down, up. And then what we're going to do is take our D chord, shift up to E as we did before, and then go 1 more fret up to this F. So our 3 chords now are going to be D, and then E with D in the bass, and then we go up to the 5th fret. Yeah. Rhythmically though, you go. So I've got the down strum and the D, then there's a little percussive sound and a down kind of stroke, then there's a little down, up, and then down on that F with D in the bass. Yeah. And then in beat 4 you've got our another one of these kind of dotted 8ths and the 16th, and then a whole bunch of kind of 16ths. So that kind of goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and then you kind of lead into the riff. Okay, so that intro bit sounds like this. So after the intro we have the main riff, which is arguably the kind of coolest part of the song. What we're doing here is pretty much a kind of 4-bar riff, but I'm going to break it down into 2-bar chunks. And we start off with something that sounds like this. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to hammer 5 to 7 with the first to third finger and that D string there. But I've got the open A string as well. Yeah, so I do that hammer. Then I hit the kind of A string on that 7th fret with a down up. And then I end it with an up down. Yeah, so you go that rhythm like that. Then I'm going to do a triplet pull off. So I do 7-5-0 on that D string, all pull offs. Then I'm going to use my middle finger to bend at the 3rd fret of that A string there slightly, and then end it with a pretty much an A power chord. So I've got open A string, and I'm banning the D and the G strings here with the first finger, but you might just hear that kind of D string there. And there's a little kind of open string hit here, double, that kind of leads into it. So you're kind of doing, that's kind of your kind of feel of it. So that bar slowly sounds like this. Yeah. Then we have this little bit here, and this is all based around pretty much like an A7 tonality. So I'm barring at the 5th fret of the D, G and B strings here with the first finger, and I'm going to be doing this hammer with the middle finger to the 6th fret on that G string. And to begin with, I hit just the D and the G to do that hammer. Then I'm going to play 7th fret of the D string there. Yeah. Then what I'm going to do is play a double stop 7th fret on the G and the B strings. Yeah. Fingering wise, I think what I tend to do is I do like a hammer with the middle finger, and then play the 7th fret with the pinky, and then collapse it down to get the bar. If you can do that with your 3rd finger, go for it. I find that a bit more awkward. You could do it like that as well. You could do play the double stop with the pinky. As long as you get those kind of notes out. Then we're doing a little hammer 5 to 6. Then I've got a 5-7 double stop on the G and B strings. Yeah. So that kind of comes in rhythmically. That bit there, you've got your 16th, so it goes da 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 da. Yeah, like that. And then we end it off with a hammer on 5 to 6, double stop, and then 7-5 in the D string. Okay. So slowly with that first bar, we've got this. Yeah, and you can hear that little kind of bit in the middle there. Sometimes you hear that 5 almost like a ghost note because it's quite quiet, but you're going for that kind of groove of it there. Yeah. Now, next bar is pretty much the same as we did with the first bar, but we end with a D chord this time. Yeah. And then we have this cool little run here. So what I'm doing in the first 2 beats is I'm going to hammer 5 to 7 in A string. Then I'm going to play the open G string. I do that with down and upstroke. Then I'm going to do a hammer 3 to 5, downstroke. Then an upstroke on the open D string. Then a hammer 2 to 3 on that A string. And that's your first 2 beats. Yeah. Then I'm going to do a triplet 3 to 0 pull off. And this second first finger there. Then I'm going to bend 3rd fret of that E string with the middle finger, slight bend, and then A power chord, and you got that hit on it there. So that bar slowly goes. Okay, and then you put it together that one. So that's your kind of 4-bar kind of riff. It repeats that again, and there's just a slight variation in the end here before we start the verse. We do that run down, and then we've got this double hit and an A and this non-chord here. What you've got is a kind of rhythmical hit. Strumming wise, you're doing like a down up down there, so it's yeah, like that. So I'm just hitting that A power chord, hitting it down up, and then there's a downstroke on the open strings to lead into the next bit. Yeah. So that riff sounds like this. Now the cool thing about the verses in Wholehearted is pretty much that riff just played again. Yeah. So we've still got all that kind of, you know, in with the D chords, and then the last time you do it, you've got that open string to lead into the next bit. So after verses, we have our pre-chorus. So what we're doing here is we're taking some chords with a D kind of pedal note and some chords with an A pedal note. So I'll look at the chord shapes first. So for the first part, we're going to be playing a D chord. And as I said, this tune's based a lot on taking the shape and moving it about. So take that shape and put your first finger up at the 9th fret now. So what you've got here, this is an A triad. And then take that down 2 frets. Then you've got a G triad with D in the bass. And then the last chord in this first bit is an A with a D like this. So this is another A triad, but I'm barring at the 5th fret of the B and E strings. My second finger is at the 6th fret of the G string there. And then he goes back to here. So that's the kind of 4 chords. Yeah. So rhythmically here though, on the D chord, you're going to be playing this kind of dotted 8th, 16th, and then this 8th here. So that's like a down, up, down. Like that, okay. Up in the A with the D in the bass, you go. Yeah, so you've got like a down, up, down on that. Yeah. And the G with D in the bass, you go down, up, down again. Yeah. And then before you move to this A with D in the bass, it kind of goes. So I've got another one of these little percussive sounds in the down stroke here, and I'm aiming to hit that A and the D on an up stroke here. So that's kind of a little gallop rhythm, and it's like a did it, but you're doing this like that. Yeah. Then I've got double hit here, percussive, and then downstroke on the D string. Okay. So kind of that little sequence of the G to the A to the D chord kind of goes like that. Yeah. And once I hit that chord here, I've got another up down and a down down up. Okay. So that whole kind of sequence slowly goes. That's your kind of rhythm. Then what we're going to do is pretty much play that exact same strumming feel, but over these chords. I've got A7. Yeah. So I've got 2nd fret the D string with the middle finger, and then my ring finger is playing 2nd fret the B string. I'm going to play it this way because when I play the next chord, I can just take this middle finger and shift up. So they'll be used this finger as kind of like an anchor point. In this chord here, I'm playing 4th fret the D string with the middle finger. And my first finger is playing 3rd fret of that B string there. Yeah. It's playing around again with this A7 kind of tonality. Yeah. Then the next chord, I take what we had at our first shape, but I'm playing at the 5th fret now. Some D string, 5th fret with the middle finger, and my ring finger is playing 5th fret the B string. Yeah. And we go back down. Yeah. So that's with the same sort of strum pattern. So on the A7, you've got your. In this next chord you've got your, and then we have our slight variation there. It's not a biggie, but you're just up down, down up down. Yeah. So that bit again slowly. Yeah. So we play those 4 bars twice. The second time, it's just again, when we end, it's just a slight strumming variation. You're putting kind of emphasis in this chord to lead into the chorus. So you have this, you're hitting that kind of doom doom 4 and before it leads to kind of the chorus part. Yeah. So that pre-chorus sounds like this. So now we have the chorus. So what we're going to do chord wise here is we're going to be moving from like a G chord. I'm kind of playing it without the first finger there. So I've got, 3rd fret the E string, open D and G. That A string's getting muted with that middle finger. And my 3rd finger's playing the B string, 3rd fret, 4th finger's playing the 3rd fret of that high E string. Yeah. Then we move it up, classic rock chord change. There's so many songs. I'm just taking that bass note, G, moving it up to C, 3rd fret the A string. I'm going to bring in my first finger here to play that major 3rd, so 2nd fret of the D string. Yeah. And then we've got our D, moving up 2 frets to E with D the bass. Yeah. So that's kind of the chords for this first part of the solo chorus here. So what we start off rhythmically though, is we do on the beat, then a down, down, up, so it goes like that. Then I've got this little lead in on the bass movement here, so I'm just playing 3 on the E string on that chord, and then 0 2 on the A string there to lead to that finger there. So what you might find is you strike that chord and bring the first finger on later on. But rhythmically that comes in the and the beat 4. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is hit that on the and the beat 1, so that's kind of sustains through. And then I've got the rhythm where I've got my down. So you've got that kind of dotted 8 16th combo again. So it's down, up, down, up, down, 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 up. Yeah. And then we've got our D to E, D here, and that's kind of very similar to how we played in the kind of intro-ish. I've got a downstroke, percussive hit on the down, and then an upstroke there. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is hit the E with the D chord, kind of 3/16. Yeah, so it goes. That sort of feel. Yeah, so you're thinking strumming on these chords with a down up down basically once you've done your initial D. Yeah, so we've got a down up down in this D chord here. Yeah. Then I have this, what I'm going to do here after the percussive hit is I'm going to slide. So it's hard to notate the strum notation, but what I'm going to do is hit that downstroke and slide up 2 frets to the E D chord. Yeah, so that kind of slides up. Yeah, and then I've got like the rhythm here is kind of interesting when you've got like a 16th and an 8th and the 16th, but your slide and then a down down up after it, but there's a kind of percussive feel. Yeah, so that bit kind of slowly goes. Yeah, again. Yeah, so that's the kind of feel you're going for. Now Nuno doesn't play this. When you see him playing it, he plays lots of different things here. So you don't have to be too accurate with the rhythm that you've got here, as long as you've got that kind of vibe. You know, that sort of thing. Now, we pretty much play all that again. But instead of playing a C add 9, I've got a C9 now. So we've got that flat 7 interval in there to make it very Beatles-esque. Yeah. So what I'm doing here is I've got my 3rd fret of that A string with the middle finger. My 1st finger is doing 2nd fret the D string. And my 3rd finger is now on 3rd fret the G string. 4th finger is now in the B string, 3rd fret. And I think there's a little high E in there as well. Yeah. And the rhythm's all the same as before, you know. So you're just kind of doing that. But now we pretty much play the D to E D chord, kind of like in the intro. Yeah. So there's a bit more space there. So you've got your down, you know, and there's a pause there, you know, and then there's an up down on the E with the D chord, and then you hit it again in beat 4. Vibe. And then we've got this cool little arpeggiated sequence here. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to be playing a little chord. I'm playing 3rd fret the D string with the middle finger, open G string, and then my ring finger's on 3rd fret the B string there. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is play down, down, up, arpeggiate that there. Okay. And then play open G string again with an upstroke, and then downstroke in the D string, upstroke in the B string. Yeah, so that kind of goes. Play again. Then what I'm going to do is move that note down 1 in the D string, so play 2nd fret the D string now. Same sort of rhythm there. And I end it off with a 2/0 pull off on the D string, and it sounds to me like a 3/0 pull off on the A string. Though sometimes I think he might just land in that 3rd fret, and you might just hear that when he's lifting his finger to get to transition to the next bit. But that's what I'd play there. So that kind of second part of the bar goes. Yeah. So when you put it together with the first part, Yeah. Yeah, that's that kind of little arpeggiated bit. So with that kind of bar, that's kind of like a 2-bar phrase to me, because we just play that again, and it sounds, you know, those 2 bars together. That sort of vibe, yeah. So as I said, we play that twice, and then that's kind of the end of the chorus part, yeah. So that chorus sounds like this. Now after the chorus, we've got a little instrumental break with slide guitar. I'm not going to be looking at that. I just want to look at the bits, you know, so you can just grab a guitar and kind of strum along with it. We pretty much just play the riff again, and then into another verse, and then another pre-chorus, and then we have our chorus. Now, in that second chorus, when we get to the C9 part, we then go to basically the kind of, what I've called the coda here, the outro of the song, basically. And we have this little kind of chordal bit that links to the repeat of the chorus. So what he's doing chordally here is he's playing a D chord, then he's going to our A with D in the bass that we saw in the pre-chorus, then move that down 2 frets, so now we've got a G with D in the bass, and then back to D. Yeah. And rhythmically what you've got here is you've got like a down, yeah, so it's a down percussive up on the D chord. And then what I'm going to do is a little down up and then a downstroke in the A with the D. So it's, yeah. Then I've got a percussive up down and then an upstroke on that G with the D, and then down up percussive. Okay. Yeah, so you're aiming for that sort of chord accent. Speed it up, kind of sounds like that. And once he's done that, we're pretty much back into all our kind of chorus bits. So we're do a G, or C add 9, a D, you know, and then D with the slide. Then we do our G, C add 9, yeah, and then we get into our little D to E D bit, and our little arpeggiated bit, and we pretty much play that 4 times. Yeah, and that's kind of our outro bit. So we'll end the tune pretty much on one of these, and then we end with the D chord. Yeah. Now, what I've seen Nuno do sometimes is he might just strum these chords. So if you want, you can take these arpeggiated shapes, just strum them, and end in the D chord like that. Yeah. That's pretty much kind of the outro bit. So that outro sounds like this. And that's it, guys. That's the main parts to Wholehearted by Extreme. So, as I said, kind of during that, the strumming that's all the way through it, you've got a certain feel for it, but Nuno doesn't play exactly the same way every time. You're just aiming for that kind of general chord accent and vibe that goes along with the singing and the general kind of rhythm of the tune. So, even though I've got the detailed kind of strum notation there, don't get hung up on it too much, just as long as the chords are happening at the right time and you've got the kind of feel of the groove with it. Yeah. Now, if you want access to the animated tab for this that I've been using for this lesson, sound size page basically, come on over to the Patreon. You've got access to that, and you've got also get access to all the other loads of stuff we've got on there. We've got exclusive lessons, we've got backing tracks, we've got the animated tabs for all the Master That Riff, Master That Solo lessons. We've got lots of exclusive lessons looking at technique, gear tips. I've also got all the Helix presets for all the electric guitar lessons like master that riff, master that solo and everything, and the tone tips, so you can try and create, you know, Jakey Lee tone or whatever George Lynch tone on your own kind of gear. So I've got all that sort of stuff there as well. So come on over to the Patreon and you'll get access to that. So if this is your first time here, if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Also hit a like as well, that also helps, and you'll be kept up to date with any other uploads I do. And you can check out the other couple of master strum lessons we've got, and of course I've got loads more lessons looking at riffs and solos and everything as well as licks. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully that was helpful. Have fun.